welcome to a new session at Graduate Guru. We are doing the topic final accounts of banking companies. Last time we have seen that how do we create provision for non-performing assets. मैंने आपको rules दिए थे कब एक asset non-performing asset हो जाता है and on those assets what is the provision that is required to be made. So today we are going to do some sums based on that provision and then how to recognize the income on such non-performing assets. So let's read question number 6. From the following information for Apex Bank Limited, compute the provision to be made in the P&L account in respect of non-performing assets. So they've given us a list of the assets, what assets are standard, substandard, वो already उन्होंने हमें करके दे दिया है. So we have standard asset and there they've said 40% is related to the SME sector, that is small and medium enterprise sector. So उसके लिए rate अलग है. Last time I had given you a whole list of rates when standard assets, substandard, etc. So we'll be referring to those rates and then making our provisions. Then they've given us substandard asset. There they've said it is fully unsecured. Then doubtful assets for 1 year which are secured. For more than 1 year and up to 3 years, that is the second category, which is again secured. And for more than 3 years, which is secured by mortgage of equipments 2,300 lakhs, including a DICGC cover of rupees 200 lakhs. So if you remember, जब doubtful assets होते हैं and if we have the value of the security given, then there is a separate type of computation which we do before we create the provision. And finally, they've given us loss assets. So we have this list with us. हमें क्या करना है? हमें relevant rate use करना है and we have to calculate our total provision which the bank will have to make in their P&L account. So let's begin. We'll go as per the list provided by them. So first we'll go for standard assets. Even if the asset is standard, there is a likelihood that we may lose out some money on that asset और इसलिए standard asset पे भी provision जरूरी है. So for standard asset, the total amount is 70,000, out of which उन्होंने कहा है 40% is for SME. Now if you refer to your list of provisions, उसमें पहला था standard asset and under that, if it is for agriculture or SME sector, then the provision rate is 0.25%. So first let us write down the SME sector. And the total standard assets are 70,000. Out of that, 40% is SME sector and the rate for SME sector is 0.25%. So this is what we are going to calculate. So let's calculate 70,000 into 40% into 0.25%. We get 70 as our provision. Then the next is others. They said that 40% is SME. तो बाकी का जो advance है under the standard asset, that I will assume is other than a particular sector which is mentioned. So for all other advances, our rate is 0.40%. So if 40% was SME, the remaining 60% will be others. And as I said, the rate for that is 0.40%. So let's calculate that. 70,000 into 60% into 0.4%. And we get 168. So this is on our standard assets. Then next we go to substandard assets. And for substandard assets, what is the information that they have given? They are fully unsecured. And if we go through our list of substandard assets, वहाँ पे हमारे पास अलग-अलग categories थी. And if it is unsecured without any safeguard, where there is no DICGC cover or anything of that matter, then the rate is 25%. So here I'll write down fully unsecured. The amount given to us for the fully unsecured substandard asset is 56,000. And as I said, the rate is 25%. So let's calculate that. 56,000 into 25%. You get 14,000 as your provision on substandard. Now we go to doubtful, and doubtful has various categories. So number 3, doubtful assets. And under that, the first one is up to 1 year. For doubtful assets, we had various categories. जहाँ पे unsecured अगर है doubtful, then it's full 100%. But if it is secured, then we had various rates, and those rates were when it is up to 1 year, which is the first category over here. The rate is 25% again. So 21,000 is the amount given to us because it is secured. Up to 1 year, I'm writing secured. And the amount is 21,000. And the rate is 25%. So 21,000 into 25%, we get 5250 as our provision. Then second is 1 to 3 years. And again they've said that this is the secured portion. So the amount given is 14,000, and when the category is 1 to 3 years secured, the rate is 40%. So on 14,000, we'll take 40%. Let's calculate that. We get 5,600. Okay, so that's our 2 categories of doubtful, and the third category is more than 3 years. Again, this is the secured element, but here they've given it to us in a different manner. They've told us the amount which is the security. So total जो more than 3 years के doubtful है, the amount is 7,000. Out of that, 2,300 is the secured portion. And in that 2,300, there is a DICGC cover of 200 covered. This is all I'm talking about in lakhs of rupees. So over here, we'll show a separate calculation. And first we'll say total outstanding. And our total outstanding of doubtful more than 3 years is 7,000. From this, we subtract our secured portion. But this secured portion should be excluding your DICGC cover. Okay, ये ECGC हो सकता है, DICGC हो सकता है. So these are basically government-backed assets. So there we don't have to make a provision on that. So secured portion total is 2,300 lakhs, but they've said within that 200 is DICGC. So 2,300 minus 200. So that we will subtract from our total outstanding of 7,000. So 7,000 minus 2,100, we get 4,900. This is my unsecured portion, but this is before DICGC. Okay, and from this now we will subtract our DICGC cover, which is 200. So our balance unsecured is 4,700. Okay, so this is my calculation to find out what will be the amount on which I have to create the provision. Now, because it is more than 3 years, okay, on the secured portion, we will calculate 100%, okay, and even on the unsecured portion, the rate is 100% only. So on the unsecured element, we will first take 100% and plus on the secured element, the secured amount without the DICGC, उसपे भी we will take 100% because it is more than 3 years. Suppose ये same calculation मैंने यहाँ कहीं किया होता in 1 to 3 years or up to 1 year, then on the secured portion I would have taken 25% or 40%. But here my calculation is for more than 3 years, and whenever a doubtful asset is more than 3 years old, you have to provide full 100% on the unsecured portion as well as the secured portion. On DICGC amount which is covered by DICGC or ECGC, you don't need any provision. So यहाँ पे if you will see, हम total provision कितने पे create कर रहे हैं? 4,700 plus 2,100 which is 6,800, जबकि हमारा total है 7,000. So ये जो difference 200 का है, उस पर हम कोई provision create नहीं कर रहे हैं because it's backed by a good standing, good cover by the government itself. So this will be 6,800. Okay, and now we finally have our fourth category, which is our loss assets. And on loss assets, I don't need any breakup. Full jitna bhi amount hai, uska 100% has to go as provision. So the amount given is 5250 and into full 100% on loss assets. So now I'll add up all these amounts and we'll get our total provision. So starting from here, 70 plus 168 plus 14,5250, 5,600. Then this was my inner working. I'll directly take 6,800 and plus 5,250. So we get 37,138 as our total provision. So in the P&L account, when we will be preparing our P&L, we'll go to that later. But in the P&L, जहाँ पे हम provisions and contingencies बताते हैं, there this amount will directly come, and this is how you work out that amount. So take down this solution, then we'll go to the next sum. So let's go to now question number 7. Let's read the sum, then I'll tell you how it is different from the earlier sum. Following are the details of interest earned and received by Crompton Bank Limited as on 31st March 2020. So they've given us two things. They've said interest accrued. Accrued क्या होता है? जो interest due हुआ है, which is receivable, even though it may not have been actually received, and then there is interest received. So they've given us two columns and they've again given us a list of assets. So let's see the first one, term loans. They've said standard and non-performing. Standard means normal assets, जहाँ पे there is no doubt about recovering the amount, and therefore it requires a standard provision which is very low, but income उसका you will recognize when it becomes due. Means अगर income मिलने वाला है, even though it is not actually received, I will still take it as my income. But when I go to the non-performing element, that is the second part given. So non-performing asset जब होता है, तब I will only use or I will only write the income in my books when I actually receive it. So ये मैंने आपको last time भी बताया था in the last session, that the reason why you segregate your assets into performing and non-performing is basically because जो non-performing asset की income है, you will only take it on receipt basis. That is, जो actual income मिली है during the year, that will only be shown as the income. If something is receivable, but I have not yet received it, I am not going to show it in my books until and unless I actually receive it. Okay. So here they've given us for term loans. Then for cash credit and overdraft also they've given us standard as well as non-performing. And for bills purchased and discounted also they've given us standard and non-performing. Calculate the income to be recognized by the bank for the year ended 31st March 2020. So I need to find out that what will be the income which the bank will be able to show in its profit and loss account. So here I've made a table where I'm going to show the income of performing assets separately, non-performing separately based on the head. So term loan ki income alag, cash credit alag and so on, and then we'll do the total. Now what is important to remember, as I already said, standard या performing assets जो है उसकी income will be on accrual basis, means whatever is due that will be shown as income, but for non-performing it will be only on receipt basis. That is, what you actually receive, only that will be considered as your income, and then we'll take the total. So let's begin with the first one, interest on term loans. Now here they've said term loans में standard asset, accrual basis, तो वहां पर हम पहले कॉलम से अमाउंट लेंगे, दैट इज जो इंटरेस्ट अक्रूड है वो. सो टर्म लोन स्टैंडर्ड में अक्रूड इंटरेस्ट है 156. सो दैट विल कम ओवर हियर 156. These are all amounts in crores they've given you. I'll also leave it in crores only. We don't need to convert it to actual, and we don't need to add any actual zeros over here. So 156 is for standard. Now when I come to the non-performing term loan का जो interest है वो हम कौन सा लेंगे? Only which is actually received. So in non-performing, in the received column we have 6.5. So that we will take over here. So that is 6.5 crores that we have actually received. उसका accrued amount दिया है हमें 97.5, but I am going to ignore that. We will only account for the amount which is actually received by the bank during the year. So let's take the total of these two. 156 plus 6.5, we have 162.5 as our total interest on term loans. Then we go to the second one, which is cash credits and overdraft. So this is another head of income for the bank where they receive interest on their cash credit accounts or overdraft accounts, which are current accounts basically, जो कि negative में गए हैं. So on that again, standard. पहले we'll see the standard, and for standard I will see the accrued column again. So 975 is the accrued interest on my standard assets under cash credit and overdraft. But for the non-performing, I will see again the received column. So in that I have received interest of 15.6, which we will take as our income. So we will ignore the accrued part again. So let's take the total, 975 plus 15.6, we get 990.6. So that's our cash credits and overdrafts. And finally, we have discount on our bills purchased and discounted. So discount on bills purchased and discounted. And again, we've been given standard and non-performing. Standard, as usual, we'll see the accrued column. So that is 195. And for non-performing, I'll see the received column, which is 26. And we'll take the total in the total interest column. So 195 plus 26, we get 220. 1. I'll put down 0.0 because the others are in points, and we'll take a total, and that will be the total income which the bank can show in its P&L. So 162.5 plus 990.6 plus 221, we get 1374.1, and that will be our total income which will go to our P&L account. So for the non-performing asset, basically what did we do? We ignored the accrued interest portion. हमें सिर्फ किस चीज में interest है? जितना interest या जितना income हमें actually मिला है, only that I am going to account for. ठीक है? So take down this sum. Then we'll do one more sum where I've taken a combination of NPA as well as income recognition. Let's go to question number 8 now. The following is the information in respect of Sunlight Bank Limited. Again, they've given us a list of assets. जहाँ पे standard है, substandard which is unsecured is given, doubtful again for 1 year, fully secured for 2 and 3 years. That means it falls in the category of more than 1 and up to 3 years. So that is also fully secured. And then we have for more than 3 years, and the security value is given 1,500 lakhs. Loss assets are also given. So that's our list of assets. Then they've said compute the provision required to be made. So that's the first part of our sum where we'll actually calculate the provision on the non-performing assets. Also, if the interest accrued on above is at 8% per annum. So they've just generally told us that ये सारे assets का जो interest rate है, that is 8%. So that helps me to calculate what is the interest receivable on these assets. And the interest received is as follows. So they've given us a list of how much interest has been received on which asset. Calculate the income to be recognized. So that's the second part of our sum. So for that they've said standard assets, substandard, doubtful and loss. So they've given us a list of the income which is actually received on those assets. Okay, so let's begin. First we'll calculate our provision like we did in the question number 6, and then we'll go to calculation of our income to be recognized. So list wise we'll start first with the standard assets. And for standard assets, they've just given us one amount. They've not told us if it belongs to a particular sector. So I will assume they are general advances and the general rate is 0.4%. So 50,000 is the amount given for the assets into 0.4%. So let's calculate that. So we get 200 as our provision on the standard assets. Then we go to substandard. And for substandard assets, they've mentioned that they are unsecured. So I'll write down in brackets unsecured. And whenever we have unsecured substandard assets, the rate applicable is 25%. So substandard amount is 40,000. So on 40,000, we'll take 25% provision. That is 10,000. Then we go to our third category, which is doubtful assets. And there we have subcategories. So doubtful में पहला है for 1 year. And again this is secured. We have to remember that अगर doubtful में unsecured है तो directly percentage becomes 100%. So generally in your sum they'll give you secured so that they want to test whether your rate is correct. So in doubtful up to 1 year, secured 25% is the rate of provision. So 15,000 amount into 25%, and that is 3750. And then we have 1 to 3 years. Again they've said it is secured. And for 1 to 3 years, for the secured portion, the rate is 40%. So the amount given is 10,000. 10,000 into 40%. And that is 4,000. And then the last category is more than 3 years. Now for more than 3 years, whether it is secured or it is unsecured, the total provision that I have to make is anyway 100%. Okay. So unsecured portion पे वैसे भी 100% है, and whenever it becomes more than 3 years, तो secured portion पे भी 100% हो जाता है. The calculation which we did in question number 6, that is required only if there is DICGC or ECGC cover. अगर वो cover नहीं है, then directly on these assets I can take 100% as my provision. So यहाँ पे total is 5,000. Out of that 1,500 is secured. So for your understanding, I'll show it as a breakup over here, but you can show the total also in the same way. So this is my secured portion on that 100%, and out of 5,000, if 1,500 is secured, that means 3,500 is unsecured, और उस पे भी rate same है 100%. So my total provision is 5,000 on the doubtful for more than 3 years. And then we have our last category, the fourth category, loss assets. And that is anyway always 100%. So loss assets, we have 3,750 as the amount given, and into 100%. So that is 3,750. So we'll take our total of all the provisions which the bank will have to show in its P&L account. So let's take a total. 200 plus 10,000 plus 3,750, 4,000, 5,000 and 3,750 again. We get 26,700 as our total provision. Okay. So that's about the provision. Now we also have to calculate our income to be recognized. और अभी हमने इससे पहले जो sum किया, वहाँ पे we saw that whenever there is an NPA, अगर कोई भी asset NPA हो गया है, whether it is substandard or doubtful or maybe loss, in all cases NPA पे हम उतना ही income account करते हैं जितना हमें actually मिला है, that is on receipt basis. So on standard assets, which is our performing assets, there I will take the income based on my accrual, but for the other assets I'll take it based on the receipt. So here number 1, standard assets, which are normal performing assets. So हमारे standard assets का जो total है, it is 50,000, and they've said the average rate is 8%. So on accrual basis, 50,000 into 8%. I'll write over here in brackets accrual, so that you remember that these are standard assets और इसलिए हम accrual basis पे ले रहे हैं. So 50,000 into 8% is 4,000. So this is the income receivable. Now even if they have said that we have actually received only 3,800 lakhs, but I'm not going to consider that because these are standard assets. And now on my non-performing assets, on non-performing we'll take only on receipt basis. So जितना income हमें मिला है, which is given to us in the question, substandard, doubtful और loss. Loss पे तो कुछ income मिला ही नहीं है. Substandard and doubtful, that two amounts are given. So I'll just simply add those two amounts. So 2560 plus 960. These again amounts are all in lakhs. I'm letting them be in lakhs only. 2560 plus 960, 3520. So we have actually received only this much income on our non-performing, and that's why I'll take that much only. Let's take the total. So our total income will be 7520 lakhs. That's our total income. Okay. So this is how you use your NPA knowledge to calculate your provision as well as to recognize the income for the bank. Take down this sum. I'll wind up this session over here. In the next session, now we'll be going to full-fledged sums based on profit and loss account. Thank you.